Is all about the Makerere University Guild debate. The Guild presidential debate that is coming to you live is one of a high-stake guild situation, especially when it comes to the number of candidates that are vying for the position of the 92nd Guild President of Makerere University. Elections will be happening on the 9th of April, that's next week. And please do note that currently, due to the recent campaign-related violence and clashes between the rival supporters of the 13 candidates, the Makerere Electoral Commission suspended all physical campaigns, that is the open-air campaigns. And now the candidates are rather doing it virtually and online. And in the same regard, this particular debate opens room for intellect discussion. Who has the better solutions for the students of Makerere University in the next 1 year? Churchill James Sentamu is the current, or is the outgoing Guild President of Makerere University, took office last year in March. And next week, we shall be seeing more from what the students of Makerere University will decide. 13 candidates, out of which I do have 4 joining me here on set as we get to kickstart off this particular conversation. They are going to be sharing with us and also promising the students of Makerere University what they have to offer. I'll start off with the gentleman on the extreme end of my left, Atuha Cohen. A very good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's Atuha Cohen, a student at KS, that's College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, doing Bachelor's of Agriculture and Rural Innovation in my 2nd year.
Cohen, you do not speak with a lot of energy. Are you afraid of these other people?
No, I'm not afraid. Actually, this is the way I talk. Actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good to have you. Next to Cohen, we do have Tumkunde Hannah Karema, former Miss Uganda as well. She does join us on set. A very good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hannah Karema Tumukunde. I'm a student of Makerere University pursuing a Bachelor's of Arts in Social Sciences. I major in Political Science, Public Administration. I'm a human rights advocate and an aspiring leader at Makerere University, tasked to champion the students' rights. Okay,
well, and next to her, we do have another candidate in Lubango, Jimmy Jackson. Jimmy Jackson, good to have you here.
Thank you so much. Gallant Makererians out there, parents and well-wishers, and those who have relatives at Makerere University, students of the Mighty Hill, who have private and government, who have resident and non-resident. I'm happy to greet you. Good morning. My name is Jackson Jimmy Rubango. I'm a 2nd-year student of Bachelor's of Environmental Science at the Mighty School of Public Health. And I speak to you not as a representative of a political color, but as a carrier of the struggles of the students' body. And so in this upcoming guild elections, we're hoping to champion these values and elaborate more on what the average student requires at Makerere University. Other than that, thank you for inviting me here.
Okay, and lastly here with me, I do have Samanda Ashraf, who also joins us here, also a candidate. Ashraf, good morning.
Good morning, Makererians. I am Samanda Ashraf Senyonjo, and may peace and blessings of the Almighty God be upon all of you. I am a 2nd-year law student and a man of actions, not just a person who speaks a lot. I'm a person that has championed the rights of students so far, and I'm a person that believes in the values of intellect and intellectual prowess.
Okay. All right, good to have you. And to you, dear viewer, who is joining us here, we do have 13 candidates. We're kicking off with the first 4 here in studio. And then in Studio B, we shall be having the other candidates as well with Priscilla Regina Naroga, who will also be interacting with those particular candidates who will be sharing their manifestos and promises to the students of Makerere University. But then Also, the simple rules here are basic. We've got 4 candidates here. Each candidate has 3 minutes to present their manifesto and respond to a number of questions as asked. I will start with Semanda Ashraf Senyonjo, who's just close to me. Semanda, in just a minute, first of all, what does your manifesto speak about? What does it address in regards to the issues concerning the students of Makerere University?
The issues concerning the students of Makerere University are very many. So I decided as a person, as a leader, and after consultations with other students, I decided to focus on a few because we got a lot of them. And one of those issues is one of the red gowns. The red gowns, as the one you see I'm putting on right now, we pay for them over 20K. And then simply because the university admits over 10,000 students, that's around 200 million. But we don't receive these red gowns. So that issue of accountability, and this university has a core value of accountability to stakeholders, and we are the primary stakeholders. The other issue goes to the loose booklets. This university has now normalized expelling students, but you can't expel students that don't know what their rights are. So this university makes us pay for loose booklets, but we don't receive them. They are not even made, they are not made public for us. You can't even access them online easily. But I wonder, how can we be paying over 30 million for the university to just develop loose booklets? I personally believe we pay this money to receive loose booklets, not the university to develop them and then hide them at Senate or at the main hall. The other issue goes to digitization. When you look at digitization, we pay over 66K on our functional fees on a yearly basis. We have over 30,000 students. That goes to around 1.8 billion. But when you look at how we have our, when you look at internet access at university, you can't make a WhatsApp call or you can't be in a Zoom lecture across Makerere when you're traveling. You can't even have it in some parts of the library, in some parts of classrooms. You can't have it at your hall of residence. If you have an online class, but then you can't have it at your hall of residence, then there's no difference as calling you to class because you can't really have it. But we pay for this, and we pay for this as functional fees, and it is already labeled on our function fees. Going further, we have a problem with, right now I'm an undergraduate student in my year 2, but very soon I'll be a postgraduate. We have a problem that postgraduate students are delayed. They are delayed graduation. When you look at the Auditor General's Report 2024, you see that over 302 students were delayed their graduation, and this goes back to supervision and how lecturers conduct themselves with these people they are supervising. But then still, it stretches further to my other point of our staffing, most of academic staffing. When you look at COBAM, still I will refer to the Auditor General's reports because this is public information and this is, yeah. When you look at when it comes to understaffing, the university is staffed to less than 53%. And for some colleges like COBAMS, they are staffed to less than 40%. So these are issues that I have championed, and these are issues that I want to fight for.
All right. That is Semanda Ashraf Senyonjo. Let me hear from Atuha Cohen. Cohen, what does your manifesto address?
Yes, thank you. My manifesto goes to answers 3 issues that the students are facing. One being students' welfare, then tuition issues, and the academic fairness. Let me start with academic fairness. At Makerere, we have an issue that we have students who do their exams. You find they are doing a course of 3 or 4 years. Then, in case they get a retake, their studies is extended for another 1 year, and you find they are missing some opportunities they would have got immediately after the 3 years or the 4 years they have been at the university. So as a way, I was like, in my administration, I will at least advocate for emergency exams, especially for those students that have got retakes in their last semester, especially. Because they don't accept somebody to enroll if they have retakes of previous years. Like, so my concern will only handle or I'll advocate, because I don't want it to be hard on me, that how can I advocate for somebody who is facing, or maybe a student of first year, then you're in the third year, that we should be given emergency exams. No, I just want, or I will advocate for students to do emergency exams for the last semester, so that they can graduate in the same year they are supposed to graduate. Then on the issue of students' welfare, we pay for medication, and we are entitled to go and receive medication from the university hospital. But I would like it to extend further to our places of residence, the halls and the hostels, because the halls are within the university, yes, but the hostels are outside the university. So I will advocate at least those, since those hostels are registered with the office of the dean, who is in charge of our welfare. So the medication at least should also be extended to the places of residence at the hostels.
Okay, and let me get to Tumukunde Hannah Karema. Thank you, Cohen. Each one of you has 3 minutes. That's why we're trying to beat that bit of time. Hannah, why do you think you deserve to be the 6th female guild president Makerere University has had?
Okay. So Makerere as an institution is facing a lot of challenges. One of them being the increment of government allowances for government students. So back then, you find that students at Makerere were being paid to actually be students. But at the moment, a student of Makerere who sleeps in halls of residences receives an amount of 560,000 shillings only. If we are to equate this money, it means one is required to use only 3K per day. But if you see other government institutions like Gulu University, a student of Gulu receives 1.2. If we are to equate that money, it means one is required to use 10K per day. But the costs of living in Kampala are extremely high compared to Gulu University. And some of our students at Makerere University are one that we expect to be future doctors, to be future lawyers, innovators. I also want to remind you that back then, we got the Chira motor vehicle plant. These students were at Makerere University. But then if we do not invest in these students who are going to become our future leaders, then we're going to be complaining again and again in Parliament how we have people that are not nurtured into becoming good leaders. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is the actualization of the 60% fees policy. Back then in 2018, they gave us a policy which is 85%. Currently, students who have not paid 100% are not required to sit for an exam. And this is because the Ministry of Finance has tasked our institution in this financial year to collect 110 billion per semester, which has made it hard for the students to sit for exams that have not paid 100%. But we know very well that Makerere, being a government institution, it has so many students who come from diverse economic backgrounds. So it is automatic that not every student is going to sit for an exam. But then where does it leave us as an institution? So last semester, you find that when students were about to sit, they had to send students' leaders to speak to the VC for him to issue a letter. But how long are we going to keep on going to the VC to ask for a letter? So this policy is promised the 60%, but it is not yet actualized. And we want to actualize it in the 92nd.
Okay.
That is point number 2. Point number 3 is eligibility of year ones to stand again for guild elective positions. Makerere being a political hub, it welcomes so many students, besides academics, who want to be nurtured into becoming good leaders. But it is unfortunate that the Guild Constitution and Statute subsection 1, Article 16 states that for any student to aspire, they are required to have a minimum of 2 semesters, which year ones do not have. Allow me to quote the Constitution of Uganda, Article 80.
As you're summing up.
Yeah, which states that for any member of parliament to stand, they are required to have a senior 6 certificate. But if a member of parliament is required to have only a senior 6 certificate, then how is a year one being required to have a minimum of 2 semesters? And they bypass the senior 6 certificate. One more thing, Makerere also speaks of inclusivity as one of their core values. So what is inclusivity if year ones are not allowed to stand? I beg to submit.
Okay. That's Hannah Karema Tumukunde. Then on my panel here, I will end with Lubango Jimmy Jackson. Jimmy, what makes you the preferred candidate, in your opinion?
Well, thank you so much. At Makerere currently, we are enduring what I can call a leadership vacuum. and we stand at a definitive, in Latin it's called punctum temporis, a point in time where the leadership of this university is being contested for. But every time and again, we are presented with choices that are not really addressing the genuine heartbeat of the Makerereans. And therefore, these choices come disguised by an attempt to stifle the heartbeat of the Makererian. And therefore, I come as a representative of the student body, and I come as a voice for the voiceless and a voice for the student who has been ignored for quite long. I appreciate when we stand up for these positions, and especially I do this to my contemporaries, to my fellow candidates. I really thank them for standing up, but sometimes what I offer to them is a sobering reflection, because the Guild is not a platform for personal aestheticism or a satellite office for selfish political machinations. The Guild in Latin is called acta non verba. Words cannot be agreed. Deeds must be agreed. Action, not words, should be agreed. And therefore, my mandate is entirely on representing the student who has not been represented. And I want to speak to a street vendor out there who has a student at campus. I want to speak to a peasant who has a student at campus. But this student pays tuition. But the tuition we pay does not get the accountability it deserves. We are not a generation that's to be defined by financial attrition. That's wrong. We are a generation that is defined by tuition that deserves the accountability it desires to get. I mean, when you check our portal, we have quite portions of fee, but this fee does not get the accountability it deserves. And therefore, my administration will focus on putting up a fiscal framework that ensures that every student is not martyred for their poverty. Justitia omnibus, in Latin they say, justice for all. Okay. Every student should be. And then secondly, my administration will focus on the Graduate Students' Union. When you check the Guild, the graduate students have been sidelined for quite long. But these are the heartbeat of research at Makerere University. When you look at the Times Higher Education World University Rankings, they ranked Makerere University. But when we look at research, we are not competent enough, yet we are called the Harvard of Africa. And therefore, my administration look at funding for graduate students, and then lastly, on the student work scheme. Why should we outsource labor from outside when we have the brightest minds in the region? These brightest minds can be the ones that run the university daily operations. And therefore, we are focusing on that because as Makerere, we don't wish to rise through the rankings through administrative window dressing. We shall rise through something that is accredited. And therefore, Jimmy, as I end...
That does it for us. So I just wanted to ask, are you a Latin?
I'm not a Latin.
Okay.
I become one because some of our issues cut across.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Priscilla, good morning. I've had a Latin scholar here amongst the candidates in studio. Let's say to Studio B, Priscilla Regina Naroga also has a number of candidates with her. I don't know what they're promising the students of Makerere University. Good morning, Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much, Sir Moderator. We do continue on here with the Makerere University Guild presidential debate. And I do have three candidates who have been listening to their fellow presidential candidates, and I'm sure they do differ in some of their opinions and schools of thoughts that have been shared. So these are three second-year students who are going to be sharing their vision for the 92nd Guild presidency, and they'll answer questions to student welfare, campus engagement, leadership priorities, to mention but a few, but I'm not here to speak on their behalf because they are next to me. I do have Bulumba Timothy, who's offering population studies. I do have Kaija. How do you pronounce it again? Okay, all right. Peter Clever is joining us. He's offering commerce. Then I also do have Nzanga Mark, who's offering social sciences. Gentlemen, it's a tough course that you are picking up for the Guild presidency, but we want to first understand, as a student, 2 years at Makerere University, what has been your personal experience that led you to then contest for the 92nd presidency? Let me start with you, Timothy.
Well, thank you very kindly. For purposes of introduction, my name is Blumba Timothy Kasule, a second-year student at Makerere University from Cobhams, pursuing a Bachelor's degree of Science in Population Studies. Starting with the question today, in my year one, I would like to inform you, all the listeners who are listening and viewing us from the different places and different circles of life, is that at Makerere we have two types of Makerere. It's not just one, but as a student in my year one, what I saw is that the other first Makerere is a Makerere that is full of oppressors, people who have decided to oppress students, to deny them freedom of expression, freedom of association, who have denied them a chance to fight and raise their voices. And as I speak today, and I come today to speak this morning, I'm speaking from the other side of Makerere, the side that has been oppressed, the students who have been denied a chance or a voice to speak anything at Makerere.
What voices or what issues at Makerere should they be speaking into?
In most cases, the issues that are disturbing students are basically policy issues. When you look at the different policies, these are draconian policies that have been brought by administration and they are indirectly or directly affecting students. And it is a whole, when you look into the spectrum of it all, you can see it clearly that from government students to private students, when you talk about the tuition policy and how it's suppressing students.
Okay,
when you
Timothy, you know, we have to hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
If you're speaking to me as a voter and you're telling me a litany of policies, there are many policies that affect me, but from your experience, what are the two policies that you need addressed? Today
I'll start with the tuition policy. When you look at the tuition policy, it clearly states that by third week, especially for new students, they must have at least paid 60% to get an issuance of the admission letter. And by 12th week, students are expected to have at least registered, and failure to register by 12th week, you're deregistered, like you're no longer a student. And according to the statistics, they show that over 1,000 students drop out of Makerere University each academic year, meaning that students are not able to finish up their studies because of this policy. We are looking at alternatives. What is the alternative? Because we all know Uganda, students are struggling. As Makerere being a premier institution, everybody wishes to have their life education at Makerere. So why is it that when they reach Makerere, a chance is being denied and students are just dropping out? So me as Blumba Timothy, I'm suggesting something that is quite unusual, but it has been there before. It started in 1992 by a former guild president, that is Charles Romishana, and it was called in format of Makerere University Needed Students Association. The purpose of this association was helping students who never had what it takes to survive at university. It was then revived in the 89th Guild House, and that was by Honorable Maseruka. Right now is the Honorable Elect of Mukono South, and it was under the campaign Save a Makerenian. As I speak today, me, I'm revamping it because it failed to continue in the 90th and the 91st, but in the 92nd we have hope that yes, we are going to have it. Okay. We are going to bring it under what we call the Guild Study Fund.
Let me find out from Mark if he shares the same sentiments. Mark, as you're joining us, to let us know what your manifesto is and your experience of the 2 years that you've so far had at Makerere University. What has the Hill taught you that needs to be addressed?
Thank you so much. First of all, my name is Mark Nzanga. I'm a second-year student at the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, majoring in international relations and diplomacy, minoring in gender and development. Now, for the 2 years I've spent at Makerere University, I've learned a lot. I've had the cry of many students. Things that we really thought they could be worked on by the leaders we put in power, because the power lies in our hands as students of Makerere University. However much someone may have a brilliant idea or is capable, but the power lies in our hands. And for some time, we've been having leaders that promise, but don't pave way for solutions to these challenges. The challenges that include the food question, the food problem, where we have service providers at different halls having inconsistency in food prices, which really now hinders, first of all, your academic journey as a student who is at Makerere University, because that's the main reason as why we are at Makerere University. And as a way of building for the future, as our motto says, I would advocate for a constant and a standard food price. Secondly, that every politician will jump for his tuition policy. Now, the tuition policy, as of now, it stands at a 60% to sit for your exams. But I have many students who are my friends who have paid the 60% but were not able to sit at least 80% of the examinations. Now, I've been hearing the manifestos of other politicians. I call them politicians because that's the game. And everyone is promising a 60% or a 70%. But if we could find a way, because this policy is applying in some colleges, that someone pays for some course units that they are able to pay for, as they are trying to look for money to pay for the other courses. Because this not only makes it simpler for one to look for the money, but he himself as a way of looking for marks, as a core value, or as a core reason as to why we are at Makerere University, is education. So as a way of one trying to achieve the reason as why they're at Makerere University, I think they would prioritize having that semesterization policy where a student can pay for the course units and then later pay for the others as time goes on. But to wrap up all this, these are the same policies that our leaders have been telling us before. But me, I stand to a point that Makerere University graduates over 15,000 students per year, and it has spent over 100 years in existence. That means we have over 1 million old students or alumni who have an association at Makerere University and are stakeholders.
Okay.
Most of these people have been left out when it comes to policy making or decision making at Makerere University. And these are the people who have gone through this life that we're going through, even worse. But they managed to get to the world and hustle it out. So,
all right. Thank you so much, Mark.
Shortly, to me, I think if we get these people involved on board, I think we'll have the best policy making in Makerere University.
I'm sure that's a desire that has been shared by the previous presidency, but we have not yet seen any bearing of fruit of it. So how would you be able to do that? You'll answer that later on when we return. Let me go to Clever.
Well, that's a good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Clever Chadja. I'm in my second year pursuing Bachelor's of Commerce. And this morning, my prayer is that Makerere University shall consider having me as their 92nd Guild President. For the 2 years I've been in Makerere University, well, we all acknowledge the fact that Makerere is I think, one of the premier universities in East Africa. And 1922, yes, as much as my memory serves me, Makerere University came to life. But to my dismay, 104 years later, students still drop out because of tuition challenges. Having it in mind that Makerere is supposed to be accommodating sons to farmers, Makerere is supposed to be accommodating sons to peasants, sons to average men and women, but sons to average men and women are no longer finding refuge in Makerere University. 104 years later, students within Makerere University do not have easy access to health services. This I'm going to talk about it with a lot of passion because I've at least engaged a number of colleagues. They've told me that when they fall sick, they have to dread a very long walk to where the university hospital is. And when they get to the university hospital, they equally have to wait for very long to see the doctor. And when they see the doctor, well, on a good day, they may actually be given the medicine. But it's equally possible that the doctor shall only make a prescription for them and send them to a clinic, a drug shop, or maybe a pharmacy. In the case, the doctor says there is no medicine or the drugs to attend to you in particular are not around. Then I think of my health center 3 in my village. I think of what is happening at Mulango, what people keep complaining about, and I ask myself whether the university hospital is not facilitated enough to actually afford to actually provide the service to students. It loses meaning if there is no essence of us calling it a university hospital when university students cannot actually access the service. when someone has malaria and they cannot access treatment to malaria, when somebody is having fever and they cannot access treatment for fever, it really disturbs me. 104 years later, students within Makerere University are still sleeping on empty stomachs. Well, Makerere is supposed to be a place where even the poorest, the sons and daughters of the poorest of men find comfort. But it is not the case. Quite a number of my colleagues are dropping out of university, like they have mentioned, are dropping out of university because of tuition challenges. So when I look at them dropping out, I don't think I'm any safer because I'm not born to a rich man. I'm not born to a rich woman. Rather, my father, my mother, gets their little pennies from wherever they get the money from to see that they can afford me education, because they think the only cheat code a son and a daughter to a poor man has at winning this world is education. But if the place that is supposed to be refuge to me is actually pushing me out, then I have nowhere to go. It is very clear.
Clever, what would be your proposals?
What would be my proposal? This is something that everybody has mentioned, but I have quite a different wave around it. Everybody has talked about the tuition policy. This is something that has been around for, that has been talked for about 10 or so years, right? There are quite a number of avenues aside the tuition policy that we can wave around to see that we have a number of people dropping out of university because tuition challenges drop. Makerere University has not appreciated students' loan schemes enough. The government of Uganda has not appreciated students' loan schemes enough. The people that are on loan schemes, you will realize they're on NGO, that they're benefiting from NGOs. You get to talk of people benefiting from BRAC and the likes. But if Makerere University, together with the government, get to appreciate this and give it due attention, I want to think even my brother, who is from Masaka, the deepest of villages, will be in position to come to Makerere and finish their education. If you did a benchmarking in Rwanda, you did a benchmarking in Tanzania, Kenya, you will realize that even daughters and sons to the poorest of men get to study up to university level, not because their parents have a lot of money, but because there are avenues to afford them education. That aside, Makerere University has something that is very beautiful, very beautiful. I think it came to life in the 90th government. That was in the time of His Excellency Nsamba, Vincent Lubega Nsamba. We have something we call the Students' Work Scheme. This is supposed to be giving chance for students that are financially handicapped to do a little bit of work around the university, from which they are going to earn money and maybe be in position to take care of themselves, or in another way, pay for their tuition, cover a bit of their tuition. Mm-hmm. At the moment, as much as I'm informed, we have about 56 vacancies, people benefiting from the scheme. But, well, I may not be in position to quote the number of people that are benefiting from the scheme, yet they actually do not merit. But I've interacted with some people that do not merit to benefit from the scheme, but yet are benefiting from it. Not because of anything else, but because the people in the admission system, the people in the office admitting these students to benefit from the scheme, may be unknown to them, maybe are relatives to them. So
I'm going to ask you to hold your school of thought there, Clever. We do have other students that are also vying for the same position, the Guild presidency, because the whole list is totaling up to 13 candidates that will appear on the ballot paper. From my end, Joram, one thing is loud and clear: the tuition policy at Makerere University is concerning across the three candidates sitting with me. That is Timothy, Mark, and Clever. I don't know what the next candidates do say about that.
All right, Priscilla, the fortunate bit on my side is that I've got the chance to have a balanced set, I should say. I have two gentlemen now and a lady. Previously, I had three gentlemen and one lady. So in the same regard, they have promises. There are so many promises, I should tell you. And the three candidates I have now, all that have joined me here as we continue with this particular Makerere Guild presidential debate here on NTV. I do have Mujuzi Mike. Mujuzi Mike is joining us. He's the gentleman in donning a red tie. Very good morning, Mujuzi. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, sir.
Please hold the microphone and speak to us.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. And next to Mujuzi, we do have Tracy Mbabazi. Very good morning, Tracy. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. Good morning.
Okay, good morning to you. And next to me, I do have Tebakol Jimmy Prince. Good morning.
Good morning, moderator.
I can see colors here. Yellow and red. What does the yellow represent? Is it the obvious?
Yeah, it's obvious. NRM, I'm an NRM cadre.
Okay.
For that, I can tell you.
All right. Let me start with you. Makerere University will be heading to the polls next week, 9th April. What are your promises to the people? What does your manifesto speak about? And what gives you the confidence that you might be having a chance at being the 92nd guild president of Makerere?
For that, I want to thank God and to the people that have been with me in this, walking with me this journey. My name is Tebakor Jimmy Prince, aspiring guild president and NRM flag bearer in this 92nd guild race. What I do have for the Makererians, as the ruling party, as an NRM cadre, I tell you we have a lot. And this time round, the card, the vetting was fair and transparent because all the stakeholders were part of the vetting. I can tell you for the past years, it has been 19 years since NRM candidate won guild president. And over the years, I can tell you, sir, it has been that the chapter, the NRM MOOC chapter, sells out the card to the weakest candidate. And for that, this time round, we have said no. Looking at the just completed general elections, Muzei won with 70% in Makerere University.
But you're not Muzei.
I'm not Muzei, but I'm a Muzukuru.
Okay.
For that, I can tell you. If you can look at the Honorable Member of Parliament, that is Hajat Madina Seroko, won with 70%. You look at the youth structures in Makerere, out of the 20 villages, 108 are all NRM. Out of 8 councillors, that in Muluka 1, Muluka 2, and Muluka 3, 7 are NRM. And if you can look at the Lord councillors, Buana DPC and the colleague, all NRM. So this time around, I'm telling you, we have taken the mantle, the stakeholders have come in, and NRM is going to win, sir.
Jimmy, you know, it's been long since NRM did field a candidate who succeeded in winning that race. It's been long at Makerere. What do you think is special about you?
What is special about me, sir? As I told you, we are working towards that. And what I can tell you, we have gone through this, I personally, and my team, we have crafted a manifesto, a comprehensive manifesto, addressing the challenges faced by gallant Makererians out there. And I do believe that we can achieve and change this mindset and break this enigma. For that, I can tell you.
Okay, let me get to Tracy Mbawazi. Tracy, again, what does your manifesto address for the students of Makerere, and what's your stance on gender equality in leadership and campus opportunities?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And once again, my name is Teresa Tracy Mbawazi.
You kindly use this other microphone, please. Share with that.
Thank you. I hope I'm better.
Yes, you are.
My name is Teresa Tracy Mbawazi. I'm a third-year student doing quantity surveying at SEDET. Now, for some reason, I do not know why we are always missing out the name Teresa.
Okay.
And yet it's my unique name. I come to Teresa.
Okay.
So, as you've asked about my manifesto, I am literally looking at the small things. The smallest of things, because I have served as a GRC in the 91st, GRC School of Built Environment. I have served in the different associations like Makerere Association of Surveying Students. I have also served in Makerere Engineering Society. Well, I have been in leadership before. But why I'm actually here for Guild President is because I faced a given issue in the 91st. That the GRC house was so distant from the cabinet, the guild cabinet, that even if we had our different ideas, brilliant ideas, even if we voiced them out, they were never implemented. So I got to understand that for one to actually have that done, you have to have a leader that listens, one with humility at heart. That even if you bring an issue, they will listen and implement it. Not just say, I will talk to the administration.
Oh. So that's what you're here to clean, the Teresa bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
But also to add on to that, I give thanks to, first of all, the Lord, but Nabwire Rose, the current Guild President MOBS. I have often visited her cabinet. I have seen how beautiful they live. They live together. Of course, not everyone is in that togetherness, but at least the majority. And that has not happened for, I think, the last 3 years I've been in Makerere. I have not seen that kind of unity as a guild house. Okay. Because as a guild house, we are a bridge between the administration and the normal student. So if we are not united as a house, and no one is bringing in that unity, how else do you think a normal student is going to bring their problems to the GRC taking them to maybe the guild speaker or the guild president, and the guild president to the administration?
Okay.
So my whole point here, my whole goal is to ensure that there is that bridge, because it is a non-existent. Okay.
When you mentioned 3 years, the past 3 guild presidents have been male. The last female president was Shamim Nambasa, yes. And she's currently a Lord Councillor-elect, that is for Kawempe South. When you interact with the students, are they ready for another female guild president?
Actually, the student body is so ready for a female guild president. But the question is, who is the right candidate for that?
Okay.
Actually, to add on, previously I was with Shamim Nambasa. She's a brilliant lady, I have to say. And I would love to emulate that kind of brilliance in my government. Okay. Actually, my motto is Ubuntu. Ubuntu means I am because we are. Okay. Without the students, I'm nothing.
Okay. Mujuse Mike, good to have you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
What do you represent as a guild presidential candidate? And in regards to being a student voice, when management decisions go against students, how are you going to handle such situations? Because students feel they're underrepresented at times.
Thank you. I am Mike Mujuzi, the incoming 92nd Guild President. Currently, I am the chairperson of the Seta High School OBs and OGs Association. I'm the academic secretary of the Mbamsa Students Association. And for information, I am the chief coordinator of all the coordinators at the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Okay. I'm vying for guild presidency. It's not a sole decision. The voices have spoken. The people I have led have spoken. That is way back from Seta High School as head prefect. Okay. The current people I have served as their class representative, 3 different course units. Okay. What do I have for them? I have a 7-point program as my students' manifesto. 1, students always first. 2, unity in diversity. Okay. 3, leadership with purpose. 4, accountability to students. 5, welfare is a right, not a favor. Okay. 6, empowerment of students. And 7, a voice for the many, not for the few. Okay. In regards to your question, how best do I tackle that? In Makerere University, we lack a leader that speaks truth to power.
In what instance?
We lack a leader that stands for the truth and stands for the majority, the largest stakeholders of the university. When they get there, they get to dine with the people in the higher ranks. We have a lot of leaning posts in the previous governments. Okay. I'm here to eradicate that. Okay. I am here to erase that. I am here to make a comeback to the Makerere University that is for all. Okay. I am here to revamp. Okay. I'm here to bring back the lost glory of Makerere University. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Gentlemen and lady, because of time, I'm going to let you go, but I want to pick your parting shots. Each one of you is going to respond to the following. One, there's an issue of monetization in your campaigns. Some candidates and then some students feel there's an unfair bit of things when it comes to the spending limits. Some people have enough to spend as much. Should there be spending limits for the presidential candidates, for the Guild presidential candidates at Makerere University? And then, if voted as the 92nd Guild president, with the current state of student welfare, what will be the first things you will change? I'll start with you, Prince.
Thank you, Bwana Moderator. For that, I can tell you there is a lot to be done in Makerere University. And I, Tebakol Prince Jimmy, a garatamat of this time, want to assure you that we have that covered. But when it comes to spending, I tell you, students, we are not working. And for that, some of us, we are from humble backgrounds. For that, I can tell you. But the little we have tried to put in the campaign. But I can tell you, these campaigns are just for the time being. But I would tell you not to spend a lot, get dates at the end of the day. You're being under pressure. You're a student. You're not working. For that, I can tell you. And regards to your question, again, I can tell you, under welfare, Makerere students, you are really facing a deep challenge. And for that, I can tell you, we are not okay. With my position as NRM flag bearer in this 92nd Guild race, I vow to lobby beyond the gates of Makerere. Because if you look at the current situation and the government allowance that we do receive, in all the universities in Uganda, Makerere receives the least money. And yet we are in the center of the city. And we really need more funding, and they should really add something to our budget.
Well, thank you very much, Prince, for your comment. Mujuze Mike, if voted next week and you become the 92nd Guild President of Makerere University, student welfare, how will you address that in your parting shots?
I'm requesting to tackle the issue of
You've
monetization.
got just 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. We are at an event whereby Makerere University, there is a high level of monetization of politics. If I have to tell you, somebody last week told me, I will use what I have to get what I don't have. For us who have been able to look for votes in the most humble and required way, you will find that somebody will be able to buy elders of a hall. And the hall of residence where you sleep, you will be put out.
So, Mike, should campaigns have spending limits, yes or no?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I conclude about the thing I will do first, to represent students or to represent the electorate, that is the main point I have.
Okay. Tracy, your parting shot.
I'm going to start with something my dad always tells me whenever I call him. He always tells me, the Lord has already chosen. The Lord has already chosen. So whatever you do, do it rightly, because if you're not the one, whatever you did back there will come haunt you. But even if you are the one, meaning you will spend the rest of your life, So I have to say this. The people you're going to see here, all the Guild presidential aspirants, have very brilliant ideas. Very brilliant ideas, to an extent that you wonder, why isn't this person the Guild president already? But the noise, the candidates with the most noise, actually the candidates without the ideas.
Tracy, thank you very much.
The first thing I would tackle once I'm in power is Wi-Fi. We are having unstable Wi-Fi. And as a survey, I deal in numbers. We need 15 more access points in Makerere And the university only needs about 20 million.
So what is the problem with the internet, the current internet now?
We are not having stable internet. A student is going to use the 2,000 they have. Instead of going to buy a Rolex, they're going to go and buy daily bundles, of which they're not enough to even download the different PDFs they have to read for.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Tracy Mbabazi. I will pick one of the other things that you mentioned. You said the candidate with more what?
With the most noise.
With the most noise. Priscilla, back to you in Studio B. I've got so many philosophers in studio here with me. Earlier on I had a Latin. Now I've had Tracy giving us some new words. What do you have for us there?
If my candidates decide, we'll give you some new words. I'm being joined now by Daniel and Gracious, who are equally part of the 13 presidential candidates vying for the 92nd Guild presidency at the Hill Makerere University. As Madam Moderator, I'm going to start with Daniel and then I'll go over to Gracious. You'll introduce yourself and the course that you're undertaking, and in your 2 years experience, what you are picking out as offering in solution should you become the 92nd president. Starting with you, Daniel.
Thank you very much, moderator. My name is Nyaika Daniel Dangote. I offer Bachelors of Commerce. I'm from the College of Cobhams, that is the College of Business and Management Sciences, a college that has taken over 10 years without a guild president, but yet having the biggest number of students in Makerere University. Now, by God's grace, I have been the Deputy Speaker of the Makerere University government-sponsored students. I've equally served as the Chief Fresher of Baganda and Kobazambogo. I think it is from that arsenal of my experience that I believe I've gathered and fueled my leadership tank enough to be your next Guild President or the 92nd Guild President of Makerere University. Now, just to give you a preamble of where we stand as Makerelians, we are in a situation where gallant Makerelians, regardless of the levels, are denied supplementary papers. We are in a situation where businesses are evicted from the campus grounds. We are in a situation where we have a lot of bureaucracy in missing marks. For somebody to get a missing mark or to rectify a missing mark, you have to go through a lot of processes. We are in a situation where our year ones are not allowed to stand for any guild leadership position. We are in a situation where a guild president is put to be in office just to serve administration rather than being the voice of the students. We are in a situation where my fellow government-sponsored students are receiving insufficient allowances, but also at a delayed time. We are in a situation whereby we have challenges of tuition. But that would be okay because it is realistic. People cannot be on the same level when it comes to money. But then we have a harsh tuition policy whereby the administration requires somebody to first pay 90% of the tuition for them to sit for their examination. So all the challenges are there. But I believe it would be a fallacy if I talk about the things I'm going to do if I don't talk about the policies that lead to those issues. So the biggest thing that I believe we can do as Makerelians or as in the 92nd is ensuring that we have policy review. Because it's those policies that actually influence the welfare, the academic life, the politics, and generally the life of Makerere.
Daniel, there's a litany of policies. Which particular policies would you like to address?
For example, if I am to talk about the denied supplementary papers, whereby in case you get a retake right now, you'll have to wait for another full year to sit for that same paper. And then if you're a finalist, and then you will wait for another 6 months to graduate.
What would be your solution?
We want to advocate for supplementary papers to be revamped in Makerere so that in case at least in your final year, you get a retake, you can actually do a supplementary paper in recess time and graduate with your friends. Okay. One mistake in a day cannot ruin a journey of 4 years at Makerere. Our future shouldn't be delayed at Makerere University. We want to ensure that we stop reacting to the tuition policy because every time we are going in for exams, the administration comes out and says, if you haven't paid 90% of your tuition, don't sit for exams, and then the guild comes out reacting to it. We want permanent solutions to that.
Gracious, you're most welcome to this table. You're sitting in between your presidential candidates. We get to hear your voice on the matters of students' issues on campus and how you could turn them around should you be trusted with the 92nd presidency.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Kadondi Gracious. I'm a student at the College of Health Sciences doing optometry in my year 3, and I'm running for guild president. I've had the privilege of serving in a number of positions right from my year 1. I've been a class representative of my very own class. I've been an information minister in the Association of Optometry Students. Last year, I served as the GRC, School of Health Sciences, and was also privileged to serve as the Guild Vice President of Makerere University in the 91st Guild. Yeah, we have a number of issues as they have been highlighted by my fellow colleagues, my fellow comrades here. But the question is, why aren't we having these changes? Because I'm in my year 3, and we've been having the same issues being talked about year in, year out. The manifestos never change. No one is giving us the results that we expect from them. Basically because from the time the constitution was changed to shift from physical elections to online campaigns, we do not get to know the quality of leaders that we are sending in. People do not have the chance to listen to their leaders speak. You do not know what people actually stand for. And in the end, we actually cannot hold them accountable because we never knew what they were capable of doing. So I believe the biggest limitations is that guild constitution and the guild statute. We need to revive back the physical elections, the physical campaigns. We need to know the kind of leaders that we are putting in place, because we think about a number of solutions. The problems are constant. Everyone has highlighted them, but we are lacking that aggressiveness in the leaders. When we look at the 88th guild president onwards, all these leaders have not given us a lot. Basically because all they do is kneel for the administration, bench for the administration, and nothing changes.
What would you have wanted those leaders to give you?
The best way to demand for things in Makerere is to fight for them. If we need increment in the students' allowances, if we have 5,000 government students, why are only 20 people showing up to say, okay, we need the increase in the allowances? So I believe we need to speak the same language as the students. We need to have a united voice, because nothing beats a united voice. But we cannot have it if our leaders are not taking it upon themselves to make sure that we have that. If we are in a fight, if we decide to protest against certain decisions made by the administration, are our leaders at the front line? Because I'm elected to serve, I'm elected to lead the students, but if I'm not at the front line, then no one will back me up, and it will not create any emergency or any alarm to the administration. That is what people used to do previously, and that is why I believe we've been having a number of great leaders coming from Makerere, which is not the case right now. So I believe we need to know the kind of leaders that we are putting in place, and we need more aggressive leaders to push for the things that we want as students.
Let's first pause on something that you mentioned there, that you need leaders who can fight. And I believe it's because of the previous fighting leaders that you are now having the online elections that you're talking about, because the university was trying to deal with the damage that would always come out of Makerere University. Every time it went into an election, there's a strike. Every time there's an election, there's a student who has to lose a life. So that is what the repercussion of that pressure is what leads you to where you are today. So what would be the solution moving forward?
Yes, it has. Such situations have brought us to where we are today, but then it's the very reason as to why our voices are being suppressed, because you cannot say anything in Makerere right now. Last semester, the Vice Chancellor came on a press conference and he said we were going to have open air campaigns, but the guild statute and constitution, they were not changed, and you cannot do something that is contrary to what the law says. Okay. So this is the kind of thing that we are in year in, year out.
Mwami neighbor is nodding his head seriously. I think he shares notes with you. You're most welcome, presidential candidate. Your name, please, and what brings you to the table?
I'm Serunkuma Timothy. I'm a student from the mighty College of Truth, and I'm one of the 92nd Guild presidential aspirants. My name is Serunkuma Timothy once again. Today we're here to enlighten to the students what is the real call of being Guild president in Makerere University. My neighbor, I know the head because we share political ideologies. I'm from the side of opposition, trying to overrule within the government. Students, private students as well, to see that we took on leadership with one call. I, as the 92nd Guild President and a flag bearer of the AFDC within Makerere University, though we're non-partisan, we really want to say that we take upon student governance and the rule of student representation within the 92nd House to a greater cause.
What's the greater cause?
The greater cause is starting within our manifesto, because our manifesto really calls upon students to see that they fight for their rights, to see that they fight for their representation, to see that they are heard, to see that tuition policies really touch to the common student within Makerere University, because we're not all equal there.
What initiatives, if you were to be made Guild President, what initiatives, what programs and engagement activities would you put forward so that the students can have a collective voice over the issues at Makerere?
One, Makerere University is facing the same challenges from way back till now. It is no different from what was within Maseruka's government till now. The same students go to Makerere University, attain bachelors, attain masters, attain whatsoever, the PhDs and more so. But what our government is really willing to do for these students is really calling them up on table. Because when leaders are granted chance to lead, sometimes they don't involve the students within the leadership. This is what we want to see, that students are really called upon to have intervention within the house, and we see a level of gender balance and equitability, because one of the things that are provided within the 2022 Guild Statute really do not favor students that would want to become leaders even outside Makerere University. The level of representation that we stand within even our manifesto really shares to the year one students to see that they are given chance to rally behind within the simple posts that could maybe give you that representation of leadership within Makerere University.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Go into closing remarks. Let me start with you, Daniel. Why should you be president?
Well, as I've told you, I've served in a number of leadership positions. However much I'm in year one. And I think I understand the plight and the grievances of all Makerelians. I've been able to interact with former leaders, guild leaders, ministers, and common students, just like me. And so we understand, and we are not we are not here just knowing about the problems that are facing Makerere University students, but we also have the solutions, and we know how they are going to be handled.
Right.
That is why we believe that we are the best candidates for this guild.
Gracious, what solutions do you bring to the table?
All right, so one, we need to change the guild statute and constitution, and also come from an informed point of view, because oftentimes we just present the policies that we want to be changed, but we do not come from an informed point of view. We need to carry out research. We need to give out our policies when they can actually compete. Yeah, if we are saying we need the constitution to be changed, what's the impact if it is changed? What's the impact if it does not change? Why was it changed? We need to look at all that. When you look at the tuition policy, most of us here would really want a tuition policy to change, but how many people are being affected by its current status now? So I believe, because every change that is required in the university requires either a change in an existing policy or creation of an alternative policy that is in the favor of the students. But we should present our policies when they are well informed, when we have enough research that is backing them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Timothy, what do you hope to achieve in 1 year should you be made president?
It isn't even 1 year, because we're given a period of 9 months to serve the students, whereby we feel even our manifesto is too big to be presented within the 9 months of role. But what we promised the Makerere University students is that our government is here to serve with the slogan, "One Makerere, One Voice." And we really want to see that all students are touched from grassroots till we reign with them 9 months out. At least representation will be had, governance within the students will be at least attained, and at least grievances with the tuition policies within the private students and the government students will be properly managed within our government.
Okay, all right. Daniel, Gracious, and Timothy, wishing you the very best of luck. The vote lies with the voter, who has to go through these situations on a daily basis. They have to face the challenges of tuition, balancing assessment papers, and how best they can get out of Makerere. When they signed up for 3 years, can it truly be a comfortable 3 years? Joram, Paul Sonko, back to you.
I'm now joined by two other candidates. They were with you just earlier, but they do join my set here. I'm still with Tumukunde Hannah Karema. I'm also still with Atuha Cohen. And then joining us, we do have Bulumba Timothy, who's just next to me. Timothy, thank you for joining us. And then we also have Chanja Peter Clever. Chaja.
Peter Clever.
Oh, Chija. Peter Clever, DP. And he's a man of so many words and vibe, I should say. Now, candidates, this particular time that we've reached in this bit of the conversation is for you to ask your fellow candidates, the people you're competing for this particular role, come the elections next week. Do you have specific questions for a specific candidate and you would want to fire those particular questions towards them? I'll start with Cohen.
Yes, thank you. My question goes to all other aspirants, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, because we are all in the same race and one of us should go through. That is well known. To me, I would like to know what strategies are they trying to put immediately after going through that will help them connect with the students, because many have come, promised, then they don't show up in case of those struggles.
All right. Who's picking up that question?
Thank you so much, Cohen. For me, I believe when you become guild president, you get an opportunity to sit at the university council where issues concerning students are discussed. So caucusing happens. You caucus. The university council has 24 members that sit on it. And I believe the priority of the university council is to cater for the students' needs. So caucusing happens and you get to table your issues that are affecting the students' body and you get to come up with a solution. That is my answer.
Clever.
All right. Thank you so much, Cohen. My sister Hannah Karema tells us to caucus with the council members. You're a guild president. You're not the president of the council. You're president of the students, right? So for you to be in position to deliver best for the students, you must be having good rapport with the students. You must be having touch with the students. So my answer to Cohen's question is that I'm going to have it as a mandate to have all my leaders empowered. Well, being guild president, I may not be in position to be everywhere. But if I get to empower my GRCs, if I get to empower the ministers, if I get to give power to even the lowest of people in the hierarchy, I'm very certain through them, I'll be in position to touch even the smallest or even the lowest of students within the university. So being in position to have touch with everybody is going to give me chance to be in position to serve everybody. Not what my sister is saying, that they will be caucusing with council members. Yes, that is going to happen, but you're guild president for the students, not for council members.
Please.
Thank you.
Okay, so my brother Chaja is saying caucusing is not a mandate, but I want to remind you that the students had rights before the guild constitution and statute was amended. At the moment, that is what we are fighting for as students leaders, so that the powers can come back to the students. If we have the powers as the students, then we shall have the mandate to go to the university council and ask them for what we want. And by that, we have to caucus with the university council so that we come back to the students' body and get what we want.
Well, my sister, while we fight for the students, while we play football, we are supposed to be playing from the pitch, not from the stands of the corner. So what I'm saying is that we must have touch with the students to be in position to serve the students. Caucusing is basic. That is done by every guild president. But I'm very certain if a guild president does not have touch with the students, they're not going to be in position to serve students. And that is exactly what I'm telling the people.
So Chaja has been in this campaigning period, and I believe you have received the touch with the students. We've been campaigning ever since September.
I want to hear your pick
and we are now in
on what
March.
they're discussing.
I want to believe that you've created the rapport with the students.
Clever.
By the time you get into office, then you'll have the opportunity to serve. By now, I believe you have the rapport, because I do have the rapport with the students.
Let me hear a point from Timothy.
Well, thank you very kindly. On that same regard, we must all agree that we have two types of syndromes at Makerere. The first syndrome is called the Peter Pan syndrome, and it is the administration suffering from this syndrome. The syndrome of, the Peter Pan syndrome, you tend to ignore the responsibilities you're supposed to do, and you expect maybe somebody else should come and do the same responsibility. And the other The other syndrome is the Stockholm syndrome, that some of our leaders who are being elected by students, when they reach out there, they start caucusing and dining with the with the administrators. And at the end of the day, the students do not achieve what they are supposed to achieve. But from the preamble of our guild constitution, it clearly states that the guild belongs to the all registered students at Makerere University, implying that the primary stakeholders in this institution, Makerere University, are students. So whatever you're doing has to be in the interest of the students, not the administrators.
Oh.
That is my point.
Do you have a question for any of these candidates?
Yes, I do.
Who, to be specific?
First, I will start with the female candidates.
Please, first.
Previously, last year, the previous year, that was 2025, that's when I started holding town hall meetings from the different colleges. I've been interacting with students. But there is a bigger thing that I've found in the town hall meetings. The purpose of this town hall meeting is that we interact with students and get to know from the deep down what is really hurting students. And what we've gotten from the town hall meeting is that the female students are raising a question that even before these aspirants are talking about, because they have been raising it, that before aspirants talk about the different policies, the different tuitions and all that, but there is something that is that is disturbing them, and it is an SRH campaign. That is the sexual and reproductive health campaign.
Okay.
And none of the female candidates is addressing it. When you look at their places of convenience, when you go there, they don't have even where they can put their what?
Have you addressed it?
Yes, it's there in my manifesto. And you can visit my website. It's there. www.timothybloomberg.com.
Okay.
It is something that I've been doing.
You are a .com candidate.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are attacking on all fronts.
Well, I want to
mention something about
yes, I want to answer my friend Chaja that probably he could be saying that from a point of not being informed. Sorry, Bulumba Timothy. No, because they're sitting next to me, yeah. So I want to inform Bulumba Timothy that we have counselors in different halls of residences for ladies. So it is a matter of enforcement and awareness, because these students are not aware that we have different counselors who carry out counseling, just in case a student is mentally down and they're not feeling okay. So we need to enforce them, yeah, and make awareness that we actually have these people around halls of residences who can lend an ear to a certain student and listen to them.
What I mean is that I think there is something that is not getting right. But what I mean is that the female students are saying in their places of convenience, they don't even have where they can put their sanitary pads. But all of you, the female candidates who are running,
we do not have where we have not. Have you been in a female hall?
I've not even. No, I'm talking about the different schools, because my town hall meetings, I've stretched as far as from halls of residence to the schools. When you go to the different schools on campus, students are addressing it, and they are saying all the manifestos we are seeing, some of them look to be like ChatGPT manifestos and all that, but they are not addressing students. No female candidate is even addressing it, and it is happening at Makerere.
Timothy, who amongst the other 12 candidates is using a ChatGPT manifesto?
I don't know about that, but
first I want to dismiss.
Students, you know.
I want to dismiss, yeah? I want to dismiss what my brother Bulumba is saying about ChatGPT manifestos, because these are issues that have been recurring in our university. The tuition policy, increment of government allowances, the high food prices. So I don't know if you're trying to intend that the issues that we are facing as an institution are ChatGPT based.
Back to the point.
Yeah?
The point is about sexual and reproductive health.
Yes, and I want to
students
inform
are
you-
raising it from the different schools in my
Yes.
town halls that I've been holding.
Yes.
That they're even worried that the people who are championing, the same people are saying they want to get this highest office in the Students' Guild, cannot even address something as simple as that.
And I want to
And they are
applaud you
female.
for addressing such an issue. But I also want to inform you that we have these places in different washrooms of every college. So students have convenience. They probably do not want to go there and access them. But if you go to different colleges and you enter washrooms, you're going to find those spaces.
This is not clever. It is not rocket science. The students watching us over
now,
there.
I want
to
go with Chaja.
Back
to school.
Okay, Peter Clever. Let me get to you very fast because it's heating up between two people here. I don't know if you have a question for either of the two or the other gentleman who asked first. Please.
Because you expect from everyone, I will shock you. Well, interesting. I have questions. I'm very a little bit much more particular than anyone here. I'm not going to give general questions. There's a lady I saw in Studio B, Gracious Kadondi, the Honorable. She's been our vice president at university. I have a question for her. I equally have a question for Hannah Karema, who is seated just on my left. She said she expected a question from me. Well, Hannah Karema, you've had a chance as Miss Uganda. You've had platform that none of us have had. Today, we are running an election. Also, we are running a campaign, a student campaign, and it is clearly beyond corridor talk that you're holding the flag of money politics so high. We are grappling with the same challenges at the national level, at now even the student level. We are having the same problem. So where is the solution going to be coming from? When one of us is very much with their arms up, pushing so much the question of who is the richest candidate. So, my question is basically, you've had chance to be Miss Uganda, and I'm very certain you've been before platforms inspiring people. So is that the inspiration you're giving our generation, that we are supposed to be playing money politics? Please, before you get to answer that, I'll put a question down for Gracious in the other studio. I hope she gets to find this clearly. Gracious Kadondi, the former vice president of Makerere University, has had an entire 9 months in office. The same challenges she is talking about now are the same challenges that were in existence before she entered office. So what assurance is she giving us that if we give her another 9 months of service, she's actually going to make any change?
Okay.
Isn't it foolery of the electorate?
Please respond to his concern, then we get back to Studio B.
Okay, so I want to inform Chaja that Makerere politics is not about giving chances to different people, but about who is capable.
I have not said you give chance to different people. I've asked you to answer whether the inspiration you're giving to our generation is actually to carry the flag so high of money politics.
Yes, and I want to answer
you. So please let us not go to that question of who is giving
explain your question, and I want to explain my answer.
Clever. Let her answer.
Yes. All right. So I want to inform Chaja that me coming from a humble background is the reason as to why I was pushed to go to Miss Uganda. Why? There was a platform for me to do advocacy. I advocated for different women.
And your advocacy is money politics?
Who are facing different challenges. They're on social media, you can go and check. I championed the first ever secondary school in my community. I represented my country and won Beauty with a Purpose Miss World Africa. And coming here at Makerere is simply because there is need. And as someone who has inspired before and given back to the community, I feel like this is another platform where I can give back to the students of Makerere University. What you're saying about money...
Oh, please don't point.
What he's saying about money, I think we need conclusive evidence about that.
All right.
But all I know is that you cannot go to field with someone and you expect them not to have something to eat.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get back to Studio B. Priscilla Regina Naroga. The situation here is a lot more to do with the right momentum we were expecting, I should say. But I don't know what you have that side. Gracious Kadondi has a question from one of the candidates this way. And the question is, she has been part of the outgoing guild, but she hasn't handled situations amongst, she hasn't dealt with the things she has been addressing to deal with if voted as the guild president.
so much, Joram. Now, clearly, Gracious's head is on the line right now. So, for security purposes, we have had her be in a different room for the meantime. Someone in there also mentioned, I'm from a humble background. Yeah, even one Muhozi somewhere else says he's from a humble background. Indeed, they are from a humble background. Ashraf here is from a humble background. I do have another candidate here, Jimmy, from a humble background. Mark, aren't you from a humble background? Every one of us are here on a humble background. Now, to each one of you, many of you are speaking. Previous administration have done too much talking, no action. You're asking Gracious, what has she done in her administration? I guess to all of you, where is the most likely failure of you, the candidate next to you? I'll start with you, Ashraf.
Yeah, personally, the persons I have on this panel, none of them has had any position in the guild house. So, but they still had power that resides within them as students. I'll give them an example before I ask them. I personally audited the student work scheme last year, the entire last year, raised this matter to the coordinator, to the dean of students, to the university secretary, to the directorate of legal affairs, to the vice chancellor's office, and when I was sidelined by the university, I went to the IGG's office where the matter right now
when
is.
You say sidelined by your university, which level of administration is this that sidelined you?
I've told you I raised through ranks and none was giving me a reply. Till to the VC, they refer me back to the dean's office, but the dean's office doesn't reply to me. So that's when I realized that this must be a corruption issue, and I sent the matter to the IGG's office where it is right now. I have not only championed that, but I want to say about that because I want even to hear this out so that the IGG acts upon it, because for the other things that I've already tackled, I will not even mention them. But to these guys here, I'll ask them, what have they done? Like they have that power that raised within them as students. Let them at least tell one thing
they have done. Jimmy, you do have Mark sitting next to you. What is likely to bring him down if you were president?
Thank you. I appreciate the perspectives of my fellow candidates, and thank you, moderator, as well. When you look at Makerere University, we are regarded as the Harvard of Africa or the Oxford of Africa. And over time, we have been ranked by the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. But Times Higher Education World University Rankings ranks Makerere in about 4 fields: teaching, research, research quality and research environment, and industry and international outlook. I want my fellow candidates and even others on the other panel, how are they addressing that? How are we rising through the ranks? Because I understand we are not going to rise through administrative window dressing. We shall rise through something that is legit.
All right,
how are we rising
Jimmy, let me
through?
cut you short. From your response there, you have already failed the question yourself. Mark, what would make Jimmy fail if you were to be made president?
But he has already failed. Just from your statement, he has already failed.
Okay.
To me, I think none of them is trying to involve every stakeholder. What do I mean? I think none of them knows the role of the convocation. Yet it's supposed to bridge the gap between the administration, the students, and the alumni. And who most of these people are the ones that, in positions where my friend is trying to take the report at the IGG's office, these are the people in the office. So if you don't involve them when it comes to policy making or decision making, so that means they will have to also now go with what the administration has to tell them.
The one I ain't.
Yes.
All right, Ashraf, you did have a question for the two gentlemen. What was the question?
Yeah, I asked both of them to tell me what have they done because
of their inexperience in governance.
They have inexperience in government, but still there is power that resides because I have not also been in the guild house.
But Jimmy, with inexperience, you still believe you are a credible leader. What do you bring to the table?
Thank you. I appreciate the perspectives of my fellow candidates and also others.
Where's the evidence, actually? Yes.
The perspectives, right? Thank you so much. Thank you for this question. I want us to note that right from 1922, since the inception of Makerere University, when it started with 14 students offering carpentry, mechanics, and building, up to thousands of students right now, Makerere teaches us one lesson: history is made by those who show up. And whereas they can pin that inexperience, I want Magaran Makereans to understand, and the entire nation, that experience is good, but impact is better.
So where do you evidence your impact at Makerere University?
Well, I've interacted with several students. I've served as a representative of the students on the grassroots. I've served as a representative in my class. I've served in different house sessions, but these are just a few of the platforms I've got to engage personally
and
with the students.
And in your service, as a leader who can give yourself marks, how have you performed in those lower levels of service? Because all service is service, all leadership is leadership.
I've articulated the voices of the students. Number one, mental health and well-being. This has been something that has always been ignored. At the School of Public Health, we have the Makerere University Environmental Health Students Association. It's a students' body that advocates for the voices of the student through mental health, through community cleanups, through engagements and community outreaches.
Okay.
These are things that have been always addressed.
Mark, inexperience is the tag that is on your back right now. How do you rub it off?
I shouldn't call it inexperience, because first of all, I call it a constitution of the university. I've only had 2 semesters in which I'm not allowed to be a leader, but I've been hearing students' voices, and that's why I step up. Yes.
Okay. Jimmy, what's your question to the gentleman before you?
I posed my question. I didn't know why people didn't get it. I guess they didn't get it right. My question is in regards to the Makerere University rankings. Makerere University is being ranked globally, and a university that seeks to compete globally must cater for its students locally. But we are understanding that in teaching, we are being ranked 21.5, yet we are seeking to compete globally. How is it going to be? How are we going? In Latin, it's called visit. How is it? How are we rising through the ranks, and how is their manifesto addressing that?
Asher, give a response.
Yeah, I think I'm close to a philosopher, but I'm a practitioner. So when it comes to talking about our rankings, these rankings come by teaching. And in my manifesto, I have understaffing. I've told you the university is understaffed. And then still, we have unaccredited courses. By 2023, I thank NTV. They ran this show, and then we have had some reductions in our unaccredited courses. But some of our guys here may even be doing unaccredited courses unknowingly. Okay. At least Bachelor's of Laws is accredited. And I have asked why was it just having accredited. Last year, I've written to the National Council of Higher Education. So I have been a practitioner.
So
I'm not just a philosopher like them.
First of all, we as leaders, as aspiring leaders and leaders to be, it's our role to work hand in hand with the necessary entities to help our university. But the necessary
entities you're referring to are which ones?
First of all, the students' fraternity. The problems they go through that we are studying up to represent and solve. Secondly, where are we presenting these challenges or these voices? So that means the administration. Thirdly, who are the people who are supposed to help us? And there is none other than the government and the parents who can help us solve all this ranking. Because
in 9 months, if a one vice president, Gracious, has not been able to achieve something that her colleagues can speak about, how can you achieve the things you mentioned in the 9 months?
You see, there is a difference between a president and a vice president.
Being, what's the difference?
Now, the president can, in his or her absentia, can allocate the vice president.
Okay.
So that means the problem is not with Kadondi or the problem is not with the vice president. At a point, the problem is with the president and also
so that is to say that since the 88th president, as some of your colleagues alluded to earlier on, that's where the problem has been.
Most times it has been with the leaders and then later the administration.
From misinformation. The president and the vice president, both of them are council representatives of students on that university council. So they being council representative, there is no hierarchy. When you're council representative, you're council representative. If it is a student work policy or tuition policy and you want to petition the council, you petition as a council representative of students.
Okay.
So you need to address yourself.
Joram Paul Sonko, you know, we have to test leadership from a seed that was planted and bloomed into something that was impactful to the smallest unit of this conversation, yet is the biggest influencer, and it's the one that wields the power to put any of these people in office for the 92nd presidency as Guild at Makerere University. Back to you, Sonko.
About Kadondi Gracious. And this side, it's like it's the hot name in studio here because she has questions to respond to. Earlier on, she was asked to explain to the students of Makerere University what she has done as a vice president, because in the last 9 months, she's been in that position, and now she's seeking for the top office from the Guild leadership perspective. So, Gracious, we start with you.
All right, thank you so much. There's a saying that says, if you want to know the road ahead, ask those who are coming back, because in case there's any rain, then they know how heavy it is. They know the pain of being in that train, and they can easily look for shelter, rather than people that are working on assumptions. Oh. Yeah. Yes, I've been Guild Vice President. I had that privilege of being part of the University Council, and I got to know how dirty it is. Yeah. Yes, I represent the students there, but we are 24 people on the University Council, and only 2 people are students. So even when you want to push for something, especially when even the executive head has been compromised or manipulated by the administrators, you can't do much as one student or as one individual, right? So that is why I was saying earlier on that we need aggressive leaders. If the executive head is weak, then a GRC, a CGC, a cabinet minister cannot do much because they've already been compromised. The executive head has already been compromised. Yeah. So that is why I actually think we need that aggressiveness back in the leaders of Makerere University. I saw the previous set, someone was talking about caucusing council members. You will be caucused instead, if that is what you are looking at. So we need to fight, because I've been there and I know what happens there. We claim to be politicians, but those people are more political than us. So we need someone who understands the system. You can't beat a system that you do not understand. We need to first understand this system. And one of the things that we need to first work on is changing that guild constitution to allow year ones to stand. Because right now, the past 3 years, we've been having guild presidents who are year twos, and they are learning from the job. You have 9 months of office, and you first use the first months to understand how the system works. By the time you give us results, your term of office is coming to one end. So these are things that we need to change in our university.
All right. Tobacco Jimmy Prince. So many questions that you had. I'll just give you 1 moment to ask a question, not to Gracious, because she's been answering a question, to the other gentleman.
Thank you, moderator. To my brother Dangote, Nyaika, what I really want to ask is about rewriting the history that you have as your slogan. What can you talk about it? And what do you have for us as gallant Makererians for that, I may ask?
Thank you. Is it on? Thank you very much, my brother Tobacco. Now, it's not about rewriting the history. It's about rewriting the story. If I had phrased it better, I would have said rewrite the stories. Why am I talking about the stories? I mean the stories of leadership at Makerere University. Currently, we've been having ceremonial leaders instead of action-oriented leaders. So those are the stories I want to change. Those are the stories I want to rewrite. When I talk about the stories, I talk about the stories of tuition challenges. I talk about the stories of our government-sponsored students that are receiving delayed allowances, but also insufficient. I'm talking about the stories of welfare, poor welfare. I'm talking about stories of the biggest stakeholders of Makerere University. I'm talking about our university that was a tower of excellence, a beacon of hope to Africa, being reduced down to a nursery institution. Oh. Those are the stories we want to rewrite. So I would have phrased it better to rewrite the stories, but I had to use the rewrite the story. I think that is better.
I've not had any of the candidates talk about mental health. You know, there's a growing issue to do with the level of depression amongst the students. You know, they kind of feel like none of the school administration representatives is talking about these issues as they should address them. Has any of you put that in your manifesto? Tebakol.
For that, moderator, yes, I have it in my manifesto. Apparently, we are also in talks with the School of Psychology on how best we can reach out to our friends, our colleagues, in different halls of residence and hostels. And what I can tell you, we are working towards that. And instead of using these counselors, people that don't know about the students' welfare and their stress and the anxiety that they are going through and depression, we have decided to implore fellow students to reach out as counselors. If you cannot fail, if you can fail to reach out to a psychiatrist, a shrink for that matter, you can reach out to your friend. You can be that counselor to him or her. And we are also looking at how best we can help the students as well. I personally, in my manifesto, I talk of soliciting funds for students that are financially constrained through the umbrella of convocation headed by Mr. George. We are reaching out to interested alumni, and we are also running projects like car washing, meet and greet. We are having galas that we are also getting this money, lobbying this money for the students as well.
Thank you, Tobacco. Let me get to candidates Nyaika and candidate Gracious. I want to hear from you. If you fail to deliver on your manifestos, that is, if one of you go through, do you think the students should have the power to recall you in your parting shots? Please.
Yes, so actually, yes, there's a provision to impeach a guild president or even a minister in case they fail to do what they are supposed to do or what the students expect them to do. So yes, if the students are failing to see results
Use this microphone.
If the students have failed to see results from a guild president, then they have all the mandates to impeach them. Why are you in office? We are putting you there to serve the students, to lead the students. If you're not doing that, then please, we have better people that can be in those positions. If you're not willing to fight for us, then we have others that can fight for us.
Okay, Kandin Nyaika.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the provision is there, as my sisters talked about it. We are able to impeach guild presidents, but the issue is the students themselves are no longer interested in the guild leadership because of the ceremonial leaders that we've been having. People that have not been serving, people that have been serving the administration. We've always had debates of whether our guild leadership is an extension of the administration or the voice of the students. So that is why the people are not interested. Students are not interested in the guild. That's why we have over 45 people, students at Makerere University, but only 10, 15K vote. So that is evidence enough that people are not interested in these things. That's why they don't take initiatives of saying, let us impeach this person, let us...
Okay. What is your slogan again?
We write the story.
What is your slogan, Candidate Gracious?
For Gracious Makerere.
For Gracious Makerere.
Yes.
Protecting the hill.
Hey. The gains, eh?
Yeah.
No, the hill.
Oh, okay. Priscilla, Regina, Naroga, I'm done with my panel this side. I don't know what you have there. I've been having candidate Kadondi Gracious, who is also serving with the current guild leadership of Makerere University, though as the vice president. And then I've also had candidate Nyaika Daniel, and then candidate Tebakol Jimmy Prince. And the yellow tie is the significance of the party he's standing behind or for. Priscilla.
Of course, everyone here was walking in. Oh, Madam Mike, check. They don't know that they have to answer the questions that I have to check each one of you for. But putting on the hotspot, Mike, Tracy, and Timothy, as we come to the final event of the Guild Presidential Debate of Makerere University. I have a very interesting task for each one of you. Ask your neighbor to your right a question. I'll start with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, when the neighbor smells at you, the question disappears. But,
Thank you very much. Madam Tracy, when I get to be president, the 92nd Guild president, what do you want me to do for the students?
The first thing that I would love any person who gets into power to do for my students is simply put stable Wi-Fi. Ensure we have stable Wi-Fi. That's actually my second point in my manifesto. With stable Wi-Fi, then the class reps can reduce their strikes of we are not having our allowances. Because now everyone will have Wi-Fi. You can easily communicate. You don't even need to buy airtime to call your classmates because everyone has data. So let's solve that first because it's very simple and it's very doable.
Access and connectivity. All right, Madam Tracy, what would you ask Sir Timothy?
So, Mr. Timothy.
Yes, madam.
I would love to ask that, okay, the fact is, as a Guild presidential aspirant, once you failed, you're going back to zero. That's the way the statute now is. And that's one of the things I want to remove. So if you're given the opportunity and you have gone through as a Guild president, who amongst your opponents would you put on your cabinet and why?
It's really a good question. Thank you again, Madam Mike Check 1 to Madam Priscilla, my fellow aspirant, Tracy, Madam Teresa. It's really a big question, but I think of all the presidential aspirants, we're all capable. And being given a chance, I've seen throughout the other Guild races that have been prevailing around within Makerere University.
The question is who?
And why?
And why. The biggest person to fit that post, I think, would be rated out of the polling days. It wouldn't be now. But trust me or not, of all the presidential aspirants, they are all fit to be given chance to come in and represent.
Trustee, so this is clearly to show you have not done a good job to present yourself as the likely person he would consider. You have the manifesto, you have the solutions, and he's not thinking about you as the immediate answer. Timothy, to Mike.
My question to Mike Mujuzi, and I'm really thrilled to be around with him. We gallant Mitchellites. Anyone protesting around to be the whole main men, they are just our ladies. But my question to him is...
But we are all mutual.
Question?
My question to him is, him as the Guild presidential aspirant, how best is he going to revive back the culture of the students within the university? How best is he going to set?
Mike?
Thank you very much, fellow gallant.
Revive the culture, is it dead?
Revive the culture. It needs revamption to some extent.
Solution?
Social events.
Like?
We have to come back to porridge nights in halls.
Porridge nights?
Yeah, sure.
I would, okay.
We should have porridge nights. We should be able to have things like ideology colleges that were there in place by the late Olanya, the people that have been actually through Makerere and have managed to be great. How do we have this?
Okay.
Mike Mujuzi is the solution. MM is here for you all.
All right, in one word, why you? Mike, why you?
Leadership is a deja vu.
Okay.
And it's passion.
Tracy, why you?
It's all about Ubuntu. I am because we are.
All right. Timothy, why you?
One people, one Uganda. One Makerere, one voice. Thank you so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been 13 candidates that we've had the privilege of sitting down with for the Makerere University Guild Presidency presidential debate. The 92nd Guild President is among these 13 men and women. And that brings us to the end of this debate. We've had the different voices, the different levels of leadership, and the commitments shaping the students' experience at Makerere University right now. The decision rests in your hands. And of course, because leadership is not just about promises, it's about participation, active participation. So as you are heading out to the polls, consider the ideas shared, priorities that have been outlined, and of course leadership qualities demonstrated here from this debate. Your vote is your voice, and your choice is what is going to be helping shaping the direction of the next 100 years of Makerere University. I am Priscilla Regina Naluoga, Madam Mike Check, alongside Joram Paul Sonko. We wish you a good day.